Hi everybody, my name's Susan and this is my channel Susan's Road Less Traveled. In anticipation of getting ready to move to a new space, I'm in the process of packing up. And so I just packed up my stereo, at least a couple of components. And I have this, I'm gonna say probably 1980s, early 90s stereo cabinet that my husband junked probably 5 years ago. It's on casters, so it does roll. I can't get far enough back from it to see the whole thing, but I'll snap a picture. And so I've decided that the theme of my design for my new space is going to be like a Southwestern Boho design. And so I've been watching a myriad of videos, and most of my furniture is brown. And so I decided, because there's no loss if it doesn't work, that I'm going to try to do a Santa Fe finish on this particular piece. So there's really not a lot front-wise to work with. I'm debating on whether to stain the shelves, and I'm going to do the sides, because depending on where I put it, then of course, you know, it would be visible and could be, you know, just part of the color scheme. So I probably won't do inside here. This is the portion up top where I put my turntable. And then previously in the back, I've had some Southwestern type of rugs hanging on the back side to block the visibility through each of these shelves. So we'll see if I continue to do that. Anyway, so I picked up some paint today at Hobby Lobby. The colors as close to what I could see this other person using. And so I'm gonna take a stab. This is just 2 drawers where I keep CDs. Yes, I still have CDs. Sold most of everything. I still have a lot of vinyl, maybe 75 or 80 albums. The colors that I bought are permanent red, yellow ochre, viridian, and cobalt blue. But anyway, I'm gonna start out with the red and the yellow and follow along with this video that I'm watching. I'll link it in my video, and maybe at the end you can tell me how I did. So the channel, I'm just gonna talk off camera, y'all. The channel that I watched was using a paint called Dixie Belle. I don't have that. I just bought some regular acrylic paint, like I said. If this doesn't work, then it gets painted over into something else, so we'll just see. And I'm using a 3-inch bristle brush, and it fits. I figured it would cover a fair amount of surface. And so all I saw her do was basically wipe on and then stipple. Brush on and then stipple it. And it's just kind of in splotches because you're coming through and filling the blanks with the other color. paint on the floor of a rental. Let me get it cleaned up. So I got the paint cleaned up, and I also have this foam board that I should have put underneath it to begin with, and I'm not putting it on the back because I'm not painting the back. So let me go down with the red on this side. Compared to the red paint, this yellow ochre is much thicker. So I'm not sure if that batch of red was bad or I don't know. So let's see. I'll start with the side over here. So let me start with this side and adding the yellow. I know this screams hot mess, and that's what I thought until I saw the finished product. So hopefully I can create the finished product. So here's that side. Right. So that's side 2. Let's come around the front. And I can stand up. Oh my gosh, y'all. Look at my kneecaps. Can you see my knees? My legs. Oh gosh, I'm a hot mess too, as much as this project. Okay, so I'm just gonna go around and double check that I caught everything and that there's no dripping. Okay everybody, so off the tripod, quick view around. I'm gonna let this acrylic paint dry. I went and did catch a few little drips that I just stippled out to give it a little bit of texture. The acrylic paint should dry pretty quickly. I think I'm going to go ahead and go down with trying to just finish this thing all out in one day. While this dries, I'm going to go watch the next part of the video, which basically goes over incorporating our two blues. Okay, everybody, so for the next part of the process with the red and the ochre dry is to come in behind with the two colors of blue that I have. So I'm going to start out with my Viridian turquoise on the bottom portion. Okay, everybody, so my painting part is done. I came back and did a, blend in here as much as I wanted to. And I did come back with a little bit of pink and brush it into my blue. I did decide to go ahead and paint the front edges of these two shelves and added some magenta pink to that. You can see it a little bit more up here. So what I'm going to do is let this all dry, and then tomorrow I'm going to come back and sand it. Now I don't have a rotary sander, so I'm gonna have to hand sand this, but basically I'm just gonna come back in and distress it to the point where it'll pull out some of that orange and ochre color that's in the background to give it that, more rusted appearance, and maybe distress it around the edges. It is almost dry. But I don't have any sandpaper, so I'm going to have to stop the hardware store tomorrow and pick some up. So I'll be back with the next steps tomorrow on a sanding part. Hi everybody, it is 24 hours later, and I came back today with some sandpaper that I had gotten that was a 120 grit. I didn't think that it was enough of a grit to really distress the way I was expecting, and I was not wanting to do anything that was rougher because I didn't want to take away from the paint. So scratch the sandpaper effect. Also, I was not at all happy, and you can look at the old pictures, with the cobalt blue on the top half that kind of went from here up. It was just the wrong gradient. It should have been, it was darker than the Viridian, and I just didn't like the darker on the top, lighter on the bottom gradient. It just was awkward. So I just decided to come back through with my Viridian, really a dry brush, a little bit of paint, and some spritzing water to brush over that cobalt and blend it into the bottom half. I also kind of went back over the bottom half of the finish and got rid of what I thought was kind of some splotchy stuff. So everywhere that I had done the cobalt blue, which would have been this top drawer and the shelf, and then kind of up these sides, etc., I went back over it with the Viridian. It's really the better color, in my opinion, anyway. the cobalt blue does still show through. I had done some magenta on some of the trim pieces last night, and this morning it was just like really purple with that blue color. Just really, really bright purple, not what I was going for. So overall, and spin it around here, I'm very happy with having gone back over the blue. I think that cobalt blue does still shine through at the top and gives it definitely a different feel, but that Viridian back over top of it just dulls it down and brings the whole side together. Good, bad, lighting, some different brush techniques, whatever. My first try, so I'm really happy with the look of it. I do, you know, see a little bit of the red and the yellow that I did underneath. However, I just did not end up distressing it as much as possible that I could have to kind of bring more of that out. But overall, this is going to be a great cabinet and just really funky. So hope everybody gets something out of this project. Like, subscribe, and share, and hopefully more to come. Have a great day.